to use. But okay, I'll take with Professor Young for the introduction. And I think we continue this afternoon on the second part on related to the introduction to the end. So this morning we have seen about the radio spectrum, and I think as mentioned, very important for the LTE to use, but the LTE has not only cover one band, multiple band. And then we have seen that there are also what we call the multiple access as one of the multiple access that we use in LTE is the OFDM, and we make also the comparisons between OFDM and other multiple access like CDMA that we use in 3G, HSPA, and so on. Okay, today I'll just now I'll be giving related to the LTE introduction today, but I think what I will be cover is giving the mobile network evolution, meaning that before we go to the LTE itself, we just to see the history. What will be the one before the LTE being introduced, even beyond before that, when we have a before cellular system, a conventional system. And then, as you see, there are standardization process being done before they can finalize the standard. First generation, as you see, is only depend on the country standard. Second generation, more toward regional, like GSM, European, US, they have their own standard. And then Japan have their own standard. Then we come to 3G, then they are looking into a global standard. That time you will see how ITU, International Trade Union, get involved in coordinating the standards, and where we come up with the number of radio interface in 3G, because it has to be backward compatible to the second generation, and from there we move on toward the LTE. You see that LTE is basically convergence of a number of radio interface in the third generation. Along the way, I just mentioned to you that WiMAX coming. Maybe WiMAX in 2004-2005 under IEEE, because the 3G, there are different partnership group, 3GPP and 3GPP2. Then we'll be looking to why rationale of the LTE. What are the features that LTE can produce? And then the important is about the spectrum and licensing. I'll give you example in our country how the licensing of LTE is done. And then there are various methods. And then finally, with some of the LTE features, what are the basically the improvement that we done in the 3G, where they start with release 99, release 4, they move to release 5, release 6, release 7. They are all improvement from 3G, which is HSPA, HSPA+. When you move to 3 LTE is a release 8. Basically, the continuation from what the HSPA+ have. And when they do the LTE specification, they have to take into account what's been done in WCDMA or HSPA, because there should be a smooth migration from that. So this causes evolution. From release 5 to release 7, they are all HSPA plus on the CDMA technology. As you see this morning, we move to a new radio access or FDM in release 8. Continuing further to improve release 9, release 10, and then that is where we have LTE Advanced. So that you'll see that. Okay, I think just as a start, I'd like to just give you some basic definition. When thinking about mobile communication, means you are communicating between the 2 points, from a point A to point B, for example, through wireless. When we say mobile, means one is fixed, one is moving, or both are moving. That we categorize under mobile communication. But if both are fixed, like we have microwave link, point to point, also using wireless, but that is not categorized under mobile. Maybe it's a fixed link by using wireless. Okay? And in mobile communication, there are various types. For example, pager. You know, pager is a one way. You have transmit, then you page someone with a selective, then get receive. So we already have one transmitter and one receiver. So that's why we are using simplex. Simplex means we have one channel, one way, like broadcasting. Broadcasting also one way, but you have one to many. Pager is one but selective. Not you only page someone, he will only receive. Not all will be receiving. So that is one. That is considered one of the mobile communication. Second one, you see there is a like radio TC, walkie-talkie. This, there are two way. Both can communicate, which means that both sides have transmitter and receiver, but they only have one channel. If you have one channel, you communicating both way, then you have to take turns. This is half duplex. So that's why in the walkie-talkie, anything when you want to communicate, you have to press to stop operation. That means when you press, your transmitter is on, the other side it should be received. And then you have to release, and so I have to take that because there only one channel available. When you're talking about radio telephony, means full duplex. Means you are transmitting and receiving at the same time. So in this case, we have two channels. One going from mobile to base station, another from base station to mobile. As you've seen this morning, there are two uplink and downlink. Okay, and earlier this mobile telephony means it is connected to the PSTN, the public phone, which means you can make a call from public phone to the mobile and mobile to public phone. Go through that. Here there are two types of in mobile telephony. Basically, before cellular system, they call it as conventional radio telephony. At that time, there is no cellular concept being introduced yet. So once cellular be introduced, then they start off with the analog, as we see this morning. This is normally first generation. In analog system, what your signal that been output here input is being modulated using frequency modulation. That is the only thing that modulation available for analog. Okay. Then when you move to digital, then we can change this to a digital format. Then we can have different multiple access like TDMA, CDMA, and OFDMA, and then you can have different modulation, digital modulation. You can have more bits can be sent by having multi-level modulation. So those are the examples. And then when we talking about mobile telephony here, you see, usually mobile telephony was started in 1946.